Welcome to your weekly astrology forecast. My name is Adina. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and in these weekly videos, I go over the astrological energies for the week ahead and give you a bit of an energy update. That way, you're able to get an idea of the energies we're coming into and moving through for the week ahead. Now, this week, we are going over the energy for March 4th to the 10th of 2024, and we've been moving through some really unique energies and transits. That last week of February, we had that Mercury cazimi with Saturn in Pisces, and that really triggered some major karmic endings and completions in our lives. So I would love to hear your stories down below with some of these unique transits that have taken place, especially the month of February. We've all been moving through this amazing healing process with the North Node Chiron conjunction in Aries, which was a 2-week transit in February. And so coming out of February, now coming into March, how was February for you? What were you moving through? What were you navigating? What was coming to the surface? This is more of our internal experience, not necessarily our outer reality. These are energies of us having understandings of what we no longer. It's almost like certain aspects of ourselves we're done with, we're complete with. They no longer align with who we are and the direction we're moving in. Over the weekend, we were moving through that Venus square to Uranus. So there may have been something very disruptive showing up for you around relationships or money and finances or self-love, self-worth. And I want you to remember that squares, those aspects are what bring in opportunities for personal growth. So whatever Uranus is shaking up for you in your life, in your experience, whether it is internally or externally, this is so that you can become aware of certain aspects of yourself or parts of your life that are no longer in alignment. Uranus is very prominent right now. As we come into the week, we're moving off of that Venus square to Uranus, but as we approach the end of the week, we have the Mars square to Uranus. So things are about to become very unstable or feel very unstable. And Uranus is shaking things up so that we can become aware of these parts of our life that are no longer in alignment. As we come into Monday, we're going to have Venus moving off of that square to Uranus, but we have the moon in Sagittarius squaring Neptune, so things can feel a little confusing. There's no clear path or clear road ahead right now. There's no solid answers or understanding the direction that you need to move in or even want to move in. We're really in this energy. We're in the middle of the transition almost. It's like everything is being brought up right now to become aware of so that we can move through this and finally get an understanding of what is no longer in alignment and what we no longer want in our experience. Now, as we move through the day on Monday, that moon is going to enter Capricorn, which gives us the ability to detach from our emotions when it has to do with making decisions or moving in a certain direction. What we do have is Mercury forming a sextile to Uranus. So this can really bring in some unexpected insight or conversations or messages. So we want to be paying attention on Monday to the conversations that we're having or even the thoughts, while we're driving. What are you thinking about? Pay attention to those sudden insights. Those are like your intuitive downloads when you get these kind of sporadic thoughts out of nowhere. Mercury sextile Uranus can definitely be bringing some of those in for you. Now on Tuesday, we will have Mars connecting to the lunar node. So Mars is going to form a sextile to the north node and a trine to the south node. And Mars is currently ruling the north node in Aries. So there can be some type of beautiful opportunity having you want to take action towards this new direction or new journey you're moving into. And there can be a very easy letting go of something, a very easy release here with that trine to the south node where you just know you're done with it and you're taking this new action towards something very fated, very karmic, but that is in alignment with who you are now, who you are becoming now, and this new journey that you're stepping into. And we also want to keep in mind that on the 9th, well, Friday, Saturday, I mean, pretty much all weekend, next weekend, once we reach Friday, we're going to have that Mars form a square to Uranus, which is going to be very disruptive. And we'll get into that later on in this forecast. But we want to keep in mind that as we're kind of talking about these energies throughout the week, that energy is building up. So even on Tuesday, having Mars connect to the lunar nodes, there can be something here activated, but then Uranus disrupts this whole process come the end of the week. So we also want to keep that in mind. And throughout the week, we also have Mercury moving closer to Neptune, which is going to come exact on the 8th, on Friday. We kind of have, it's almost like a build up throughout the week. As the week goes on, there's something building up. And then once we get to Friday, Saturday, it's almost like this explosion. Something really comes to a head and is disrupted. So again, keep that in mind as we're talking about these energies throughout the week. Now, later on Wednesday evening, I guess depending on your time zone, we're going to have the moon enter Aquarius and form a conjunction to Pluto. So late Wednesday can be great, very great for intuitive work, psychic work, or really being able to get to the bottom of something. Remember that Pluto can be also very psychological. So there really can be some type of emotional and psychological transformation going on. Having it in Aquarius, there can be some new ideas coming in or some new energy coming in to help with this transformation taking place late on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, we have Neptune moving to 27 degrees of Pisces. And when we have these outer planets shift a degree point, it is more significant than, let's say, Mercury or Venus or even Mars, because it's almost like it's more potent and powerful. So if you have any personal planets or points around 27 degrees of Pisces, you're really going to feel this Neptune shift to 27 degrees. And then we get to Friday, and Friday is when it all begins. Friday, we have Mercury conjunct Neptune, we have Mars squaring Uranus, and we also have the Sun forming a sextile to Uranus. So this is going to be felt Friday, Saturday, and pretty much all weekend, but it's really going to begin Friday evening and into Saturday. And Mars squaring Uranus can be very disruptive, very explosive, very chaotic. This is really going to bring a lot to the surface. This is really going to shake things up to bring things to your awareness that are no longer in alignment. So, and this is a day we don't want to be making any sudden decisions, choices. We really want to try and ride the wave. We don't want to be driving recklessly. Like, this is a day we really want to proceed with caution. And because we also have Mercury conjunct Neptune, this is an energy where there is no answers right now. Things are confusing. There is no clear path road ahead. This is not a day to be making sudden turns or changes in our life, because there can be a lot of confusion, a lot of it's just a day of disruption. Now, I did talk about this also, and check out your rising sign horoscope for March, because I get into the rising signs, all 12 rising signs, and how this is showing up for you personally. So if you have not done so, check out the rising sign horoscopes. I just posted them for March, and I get into, how this can show up in your own personal life, the house that is ruled by Mars, and also, the house that Mars is in, and where this can kind of be showing up for you. And this can be, relationships. This can this can really have to do with, without looking at your personal birth chart, I can say, like, this can really be showing up in any areas of our life. Now, collectively, because we have Mercury conjunct Neptune, like, I think this is going to be a day where there's going to be some type of news or information or message leaked that is very shocking, very disruptive, that has people saying, what did I just hear? I'm confused now. Like, where do we go from here? I think think that's something that we can really see Friday and Saturday on social media and on the news. There's a lot of information coming out about maybe even AI, war, technology, things like that, because we do still have Mars in Aquarius. And because Uranus does kind of, rule that. And also this can have to do with the financial systems. Mars, Uranus being in Taurus. This could have to do with something very disruptive. Like I'm in Canada, and in my city where I live in Ontario, we just had a cyber attack. And this was actually one of my predictions, and many other astrologers predicted this with the Mars conjunction to Pluto in Aquarius. And a lot of this Pluto and Aquarius energy was cyber attacks. This definitely can be a thing with this Mars square to Uranus. We could be seeing more cyber attacks across the globe. There can be, again, something with the financial systems. Maybe banks shutting down would be another way that this could be very disruptive, especially having Uranus and Taurus, and then that Mercury conjunction to Neptune, where it's just very unclear of what to do, where to go, how do we handle this? When is this going to be kind of cleared, and when can we move forward? So, Friday and Saturday can be very disruptive. We want to tread lightly. We want to proceed with caution, no matter what is showing up. Also, too, in our own individual lives, kind of like how I mentioned before, remember that squares, and when we're talking about Uranus, which is really shaking things up and bringing things to your awareness that are no longer in alignment, this is where we get that amazing personal growth and evolution from. Squares, yes, can be challenging, and yes, can be difficult at times, but they're bringing things to our awareness so we can heal, so we can grow, and continue on this path of personal evolution and spiritual growth, and also moving more on a path that is in alignment. Now on Saturday, we have the moon entering Pisces, getting ready for the new moon in Pisces that we are having March 10th on Sunday. So we're still on Saturday moving through the Mars square to Uranus and still kind of, navigating this disruptive energy, but also have this other energy of building up to a new moon. And every time we have a new moon, this is a time where energy can feel depleted. We're getting ready to see new intentions. We're getting ready to clear the old and bring in the new. Now, I will be posting a new moon horoscope going into the chart for the new moon, and also getting into all 12 rising signs, so make sure you watch for that. But what I do want to say about this new moon in Pisces, which is going to be at 20 degrees of Pisces, so you want to check your birth chart to see if you have any personal planets or points around that degree point. But after this new moon is when we officially enter eclipse season, because we do have a full moon lunar eclipse in Libra on March 25th. And so when we have the new moon prior to that full moon, we're essentially entering eclipse season. So we're going to start to feel the energy become heavier. Think back to October of 2023. Collectively and individually, and I'm sure we can all think of things collectively that were showing up at that time. There can be more to that story, whatever was kind of going on back then. There can be more around those themes and topics showing up at this time. But also with that lunar eclipse, there's going to be more to the story. So whatever you were navigating back in October of 2023, that's going to start to come back around. And yes, the full moon is a lunar eclipse is not till the end of the month, but we're entering eclipse season, meaning that we're going to feel that energy intensify. It's going to start to feel heavy, and we're going to feel what that lunar eclipse is going to bring us weeks before. So we're entering that time period where we're going to start to feel what that lunar eclipse is bringing us individually. So start to pay attention to how you're feeling and what is being brought to your awareness. Now, also with this new moon that we are having in Pisces, come fall, 6 months from now, we're going to have an eclipse in Pisces. So this is almost like the precursor. Once we get to 2025, we have the lunar nodes leaving Aries and Libra and entering Virgo and Pisces. And I look at this new moon in Pisces as a precursor to what this eclipse and nodal journey is going to bring us in Pisces and Virgo. So pay attention, because this is giving us a sneak peek. This new moon in Pisces is going to give us a sneak peek to what 2025 is going to bring in for us. And if you know where you have the Virgo Pisces axis in your your birth chart, you know the areas of life this is going to be working with you. Now, I will, of course, be posting a lunar node video going into Pisces and Virgo, but that will be much later. I'll probably do it later on this year because the nodes don't enter Virgo and Pisces till we get to 2025. But you know what? I'll probably do it throughout the summer because I want you guys to get an idea of what the eclipse in Pisces is going to bring. But this new moon in Pisces is really going to show us and give us a sneak peek to what the eclipse in Pisces is going to bring. And that eclipse will be a full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces. So this new moon that we're having in Pisces is actually quite significant. It is not an eclipse, but it is going to show us what the eclipses in Pisces and Virgo are bringing us. So we really want to have the awareness, pay attention, and be very intentional with the intentions that you are setting with this new moon in Pisces. And again, I will be posting a new moon in Pisces video going really deep into this energy and into the chart, and then also getting into all 12 rising signs to give you, well, you'll get a really good idea of where the Virgo Pisces axis is in your chart. You'll have a better understanding of the themes and topics and areas of life this energy is working with you. And I'll also talk about, you know, how this can show up in the eclipse, with the eclipse that's, 6 months from now. So I really hope that this forecast gives you a good idea of the energies we're coming into for the week and what we will be navigating. This week is the week of disruption, of chaos, of things suddenly changing. And the only thing that is constant is change. And so if we learn to embrace the change, we are able to move through these energies with ease. But we have to welcome also in our own individual lives what is shifting. What are you done with? What are you ready to welcome into your space? What are you ready to change? And really, what is this new beginning that you're starting? Because also, and I talked about this in my Aries Libra nodal video. You can check it out. It's actually on my homepage on my YouTube channel. But I talked a lot about how having the North Node in Aries and the South Node in Libra, all of, the last half of 2023 and all of 2024, us really stepping into the self-development and self-discovery journey, because Aries represents the self. And having that North Node there, especially with Chiron, and then just coming out of that North Node Chiron conjunction, which was a two-week transit, that was really bringing a lot to the surface for us so that we can heal inner wounds, past trauma, aspects of ourselves that we didn't even know we were still holding on to, that was holding us back in some way. There is so much coming to the surface right now, and I believe a lot of it is, that North Node, the North Node Chiron conjunction, yes, but also having the North Node in Aries alongside with all of the other amazing transits that we're having right now. And so stepping into this amazing healing journey and really just trusting universal timing and trusting the process is going to be key. And this is the week too, I feel like, where yes, there's a lot of disruption, and almost too last week as well. And even with the Venus square to Uranus that we're just kind of coming out of, that we just literally kind of moved through over the weekend, we're really shaking things up and making things disruptive, but they're things that needed to be shaken up in order for things to come to your awareness so that they can be better, if that makes sense. It's almost like I'm going to use this as an analogy or an example. It's like having a fight with your partner. But when you are finished that fight, you become so much stronger than you were before. And it's almost like Uranus can be shaking things up to see how strong is this connection. And it can be with a relationship or anything, any area of your life that this kind of fits in. But it's like Uranus can be shaking things up right now, saying, how strong is this connection? And you're either going to come out knowing this is not for you and not in alignment, or you're going to come out stronger than you were before. And that's what we're in right now. And so this is what we're moving through this week, and I wish you all an amazing week. Let me know your astrology stories in the comments below. I always love to hear how these transits show up for all of you. And thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate every single one of you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you align with my energy and enjoy my content. And make sure you check out the monthly rising sign horoscopes that I just posted for March. That will really give you a good idea of how certain energies are showing up for you personally and the areas of life that are being affected this month. So again, thank you so much for joining me, and I will connect with you in the next one.